Okay, a situation may arise where you want to use more discretion in a financial transaction than what would normally be available on a PayPal system, which tends to reveal to all parties involved the identity of both the sender and the recipient of the money. Now, one of the things a lot of people have become very concerned with in recent years with financial auditing of politics and legal defense funds and things of that nature is, if I donate money to a certain cause or a certain situation, can that be used against me? Because am I going to be targeted for that? And therefore, I don't want my financial life attacked because of this, so I want to find some way of getting money to somebody very quickly, but under circumstances where there isn't much of a there's not much of a backtrack on this. I just want to give them the money anonymously. I really don't want that coming back at me. Now, these situations are a one-way street, okay? Because once you've given the money, you can't get it back. So I would suggest not using this for a business transaction where you expect to get something out of it. This is mainly contribution-based. And this is specifically going to be associated with things, and a lot of times where there's a volatile political situation where you just don't want to be targeted because you donated money to something, but you're thinking, wow, this, somebody's in a jam, somebody wants to receive this, and you want to get that out there quickly. So you go to a convenience store and you're trying to figure out how you can get cash into the digital world. So when you're trying to get cash into the digital world, you have a few different ways. One is you make a deposit somewhere into, let's say, a bank, an ATM, and that works. As we all know, it's very difficult to deposit cash into PayPal because it's virtual banking only, right? Well, they've had the green dot system, which had some limitations on it. You get a green dot card, it's associated with the account, and for whatever reason they started to shut this thing down. There's a new one, and this is what it is. This is called the PayPal MyCash. Okay, the way this works is you're going to find this over in the phone card section, like with prepaid phones, and some prepaid business card sections, stuff like that. Quite frequently at 7-Eleven stores in the United States. It may be available also at some grocery stores and other large corporate convenience store type places. They have like gift cards and phone cards and things like that. So you break this apart. The upper section is instructional only. It really doesn't mean a lot. It basically just has the rest of the printing information that they couldn't fit on the card as far as is required disclosures and things like that. This card has a magnetic stripe on the back, which means it has a small amount of memory that will be read by the card reader at a cash register. Now, what happens with these card readers at the cash registers is that they can find out, they can determine this card's identity on the internet. So this requires something to work online. And fortunately, most of the convenience stores have a computer system which is online, instant, and fast. There's also a scratch-off section that I've covered with my finger. You scratch it off, it reveals a 10-digit PIN number. That PIN number is the interface between the card's account, which is basically a limbo holding account, and then any PayPal account out there that gets associated with this PIN number. So what happens is you walk up to the cash register and say, I have this card already, or I want to use this card to put cash onto the card. You put cash onto the card. You're not putting cash into the account yet. They swipe the card, and you give them the cash. You give them the card. They swipe the card. Whatever amount of money you give them, $3.95, or roughly $4, gets pulled out of that as a service fee. That's what the store gets for providing the service. They swipe that card, they give your card back, and they say, a lot of times they'll give you a small paper receipt. The paper receipt is going to say how much money was loaded on the card. So let's say the card got loaded with money. You take that. You don't really need the card anymore. You need the scratch-off pin on the back. Now, the thing you would use this card for is you could load money onto that card again. Okay? How do you get money back out of it? Can you use this in an ATM? It looks like it would fit in an ATM. It looks like it would fit in another card machine. You'd be able to use that in a card machine. Well, Big Brother and all these banking regulations prevent that. So the only way you can get money back off of this card is to enter its 10-digit code into the MyCash thing on a PayPal account. Now, I'd like to show this on a computer that has a PayPal account, but there's really no way I can do a screen grab or something on this without kind of giving up some information I really don't want out there on YouTube. So take my word for it, and the instructions on the small instruction card, and there's also some instructions on this card. It basically says go to paypal.com/cash. Log into your account or create a new account. Just log into your regular account. 3. Enter the 10-digit PIN number below. Your account will be loaded in accordance with PayPal's terms. Now, what is PayPal's terms? After the PIN is redeemed, you may continue to use the card to add funds to your PayPal account. By tending funds, including applicable fees, and swiping the card at participating retailers. The card may not be used to access or spend funds in your PayPal account, which means it's a one-way street. Okay, you load this with cash, you load it to a PayPal account. You cannot take money from a PayPal account using this card. It won't work. The same with that PIN number. It's a one-way street. Once somebody has paid cash for this, there's no way of getting that money back out unless that PIN number is entered into a PayPal account. So if you're making contributions to somebody, all you have to do is give them that PIN number. They enter that PIN number into their PayPal account, and it's almost like opening a lottery ticket. They get to see how much money they've gotten. So once you have verified that they've opened up that little lottery ticket and they've received that amount of money, you could keep sending the money. So, let's say, for example, you wanted to support a person, a candidate for low office, or somebody who's conducting an activity that you want to help financially support. They could actually have just a little slip of paper or something in real space that has a bunch of these 10-digit codes, and you could simply send them a signal or a posting, or post in a public place, or even take out a classified ad and say, for example, number 4206 has $200 for you. They would go and they would know that 4206 was probably the last four of that code, and it would look on their list of 10-digit code. This one ends in 4206. I'm going to enter that into the PayPal account, and bing, there's $200. Next thing they might say is 8409. 8409 has made $30 available to you. They're going to go down their list. They're going to say, oh, I've got a 10-digit code that ends in 8409. They enter that in, bing, there's 30 or 40 bucks, depending on what the amount was that was loaded. Now, the way you get these 10-digit codes to people, here's where it's fun. Anybody who intercepts or gains that 10-digit code will have access to that money. That's your danger point. So what you do is you break this up into two sections. You break it up into a 6-digit section and a 4-digit portion. When somebody's getting these in a sequence, you're going to have to get them in short order. So you might say, well, let's put a letter on there. Let's say XY 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 is the first part of the XY code. Then they get XY 5, 6, 7, 8, or whatever, a 4-digit code. Okay, or I guess 7, 8, 9. We can't use 10, so we would use a 0. So they would say XY and then 4 digits. So we know that the XY code has a 6-digit portion and a 4-digit portion, and it's a 6-digit always comes before the 4-digit portion. Then we know we've been able to get somebody their 10-digit code. Now once they verify that that 10-digit code works with an amount of money, you can then create an ongoing stream of contribution to that person from whoever has this card. Now, when you have the card, you also have the 10-digit code on the back. You have, if you meet with several people, let's say you meet with several other supporters of this person, you could exchange these cards, so they would not even know where that money's coming from. You could exchange these cards. You could put the name on this card. Let's say there's 3 or 4 people in distress. You put their initials on the card, and they would know, okay, this is how I donate to this person. I pick up this card, and I'm going to anonymously give money to this person, and then I'm going to just publish, you know, AF gets this amount of money, and it comes off of this code. So we would just give, let's say, the last 4 digits of that. So we would say AF, you know, 4206 or whatever. That's not the code, but, you know, hypothetically, let's say it was. Let's say that that has been loaded with some money. We would say we just only give that. We give the amount plus maybe the last 4 digits and the initials that would be associated with that. And we would say, okay, this is how much money it was, this is where this went, and that sort of a thing. If I need to explain this again, I can. Now, here's the thing. If you're doing a trust and respect check or a trustworthiness check, and you're afraid maybe somebody wasn't transmitting their codes, maybe they were given some money and or given a complete code, and you're afraid to hijack the money, so you would give them only a portion of the code. Now, if somebody has only received a portion of a code and not the whole thing, and you know, well, I gave one portion to one person, I gave the other portion to another person, which portion did they not receive? You might be able to sort that out. You're going to be able to sort out who was not transmitting the information and who would be likely to, let's say, hijack money in the interim or something like that. This is one of the ways to constantly check your network in a way that is not as expensive as taking a total loss on something or finding out that there's been an ongoing hijacking of, let's say, donated funds. We remembered that from some of the legal defense things in the Charles Dyer case. People were very quickly accusing each other of hijacking funds because they would say, no, give that money to my account and I'll get it to them. And then you find out it's not all getting to them, or there's something that's been going on. At this point, what you would do is the person you're trying to help out, they get 10-digit codes. That's all they get. And then they'll get a signal that says this 10-digit code has been loaded with money. Find out how much it is. They load it in, they find out. Now, if the money goes unclaimed, what you could do is wait a couple of days and then check enter this into another account. And then if the money's been drained, okay, something's wrong. If the money hasn't been drained, maybe they didn't receive the message. It's one of those ways of kind of fixing some of the problems that we've had with people hijacking money in the interim, or maybe a PayPal transfer disappearing or something like that, because if the code is still good, you can salvage the money with another PayPal account. So if one PayPal account has been shut down and you don't know how to send the money send the money to the people, well, they still have that 10-digit code. They can start using that 10-digit code perhaps in another account. We're going to test this with some people. We're going to have fun with this. So far, not working so well, but hopefully it's going to work better in the future.